Let's see. We have dragons, horses, Pegasus, frogs, gnomes. Okay, I may be getting just a little carried away with making things because now I have no place to store them. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs and the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. This is December the 23rd, 2024, and it is vlog number 389. And only 2 more sleeps to Christmas Day? Yeah, and only 2 more sleeps till we pack into the car and drive to Georgia. Okay, so let us talk about what I'm currently working on. Well, okay. I don't know about you, but when I'm about to go on a trip, I don't want to start anything new. But then I'm getting a little antsy because, my routine is disrupted and I expect to be doing things and that kind of deal. So I have been working on a few things. Now, one thing was a finish up that I did last week, and I think I've already shown this a couple of times. I'm going to show it again. Yeah, because that's just the way I roll. And it's this, the patriotic table topper. Which is all finished now. I didn't do it in the color scheme that the company that put out the file. This is a Designs by Juju, I believe. But I did do it in blues. They had it in blue, red, and white, of course, and it looks more American when it's done in those colors, but I didn't want that since I'm Canadian, so I did it this way. Now, somebody did suggest to me that I should have replaced maybe the little stars on the corners with maple leaves, which is a really good idea, but the problem here is that's a big editing job to do. Not impossible, but it wasn't worth really spending the time and the effort to do that. This will look great on my coffee table in the family room. It's just the right size, and when I come home and take down all the Christmas decorations, this will go on that table to replace the Christmas one that's in the same shape, different design, that's already there. And if you take a look here on my design wall, these things I've got the clips on and the little sticky notes. This is an in the hoop bag. Now, if you've been watching The Idiot Quilter, you know, or So Chatty for that matter, you know that Walter and I are planning some new projects to become a series on So Chatty in the new year. One of those is going to be making tote bags. And we're going to do it in 2 different ways. One will be in the hoop. Walter has never done an in the hoop one, so that should be fun. And the regular, normal way, except Walter does designer bags, so I will learn a few of his tips and tricks in bag making through that series too. As I said, though, that won't come out on So Chatty until into the new year at some point in time. But in the meantime, I thought I'd give this bag a go. And yeah, so I'm working on it, but it's not going to be done, I don't think, before we go to Georgia. And that's okay. I just need something to keep me busy before I go. Now, of course, I'm packing and everything like that, but I make lists. So, I'm organized. I have things organized. And yeah. So let's have a little coffee. I feel a little frog. I know. I think I say this every week if you're observant, that I've got a frog in my throat. I don't know what it is. It may be the time of the day, because it is, well, it's a little later than I usually do it. We were awakened at 4 o'clock this morning by this constant little alarm thing going off. Wasn't our clocks or anything like that. It was our old house alarm system, which we disconnected several years ago when we got the Ring system. And this is one of those old style alarms that's wired into your house. And it's completely disconnected. At least we thought it was. But there's still power going into it. And I don't know what the beeping was. Of course, Walter's way of fixing it is, okay, I'm just going to roll over and go back to sleep, and I'll look at it when I get up. Excuse me. But it was driving me nuts. So I went down to the control panel and opened it up and pushed a button, and it stopped. So I'm not really sure what that's all about, but that's something I need to investigate further today and to figure out, okay, we thought this thing was dead, but apparently it's come back to life. It's not doing anything. It's not a siren going off. I think it's the battery backup. It had a battery backup system. I think that's going after quite some time. And so we have to figure out how we get into it and disconnect that little device. Um, can't really just yank it right off the wall because then we'd have to redo the whole wall. Yeah, it's that kind of system. Um, so anyways, that was interesting to wake up to that. As Walter says, it never fails. Something in this house does something unusual just before we leave on a vacation. Every time. Every time. It's like the house says, don't leave me all alone. We need another cat. Cat keeps the house warm or company. Anyways, I'm rambling. So let's move into channel of the week. This is about 3D print farms, or I always called them a mill. I have a print mill. Apparently I don't. Apparently I have a print farm because I have 5 printers going. And more about my printer setup and things I have planned for the new year with that in a bit. But right now I found this really interesting because this is somebody who has created a business from 3D printing, and he's got a lot of 3D printers. Thus, he is a 3D print farmer. This week's YouTube video of the week has to do with 3D printing. Surprise, surprise. And this is a YouTube channel I just discovered. It's called Samcraft, and this was an episode where he was showing his business, and his business is built around 3D printing parts, and he uses a lot of the Bamboo Lab printers, which if you remember last week's video, I talked a little bit about because I'm interested in getting a Bamboo Lab printer in the near future. But this particular video clip is called My Routine as a 3D Print Farmer, and it's just incredible, the business he has created around 3D printing. And he's not unique. There are quite a few businesses based around the simple 3D printer. So if you're interested in starting your own business in 3D printing, you might want to check out this video and other videos that Samcraft has produced, because I find them very informative. I don't have any plans to start a business, but if I did, he's got some really good advice. So you'll find a link for that YouTube video if you're interested in that kind of thing in the show notes below. You'll find a link for Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen, but just ignore that. That's a permanent link, and we will not be doing Sewing with Stephanie and Stephen until January the 8th. We're stopped because Stephanie, of course, is going to her retreat that we're going to. So yeah, we won't be back until January, early January, and so the next one will be January the 8th. You'll also find links to all my friends' channels. Check them out. Give them some Christmas cheer. You know, content creators this time of the year work overtime if they're doing Vlogmas and that kind of thing. And that's no small feat, and that's why I don't do it, because that eats up a lot of your time trying to create even a short video every day for like about 25 days. Yeah. So they need to know you appreciate their efforts. So go to their channel, subscribe if you haven't, give them a like. Okay, and then you'll find a whole slew of links for all the Missouri Star quilt box on openings that Stephanie and I have done together. And it goes right up to the last box, except day 21 to day 25 is not active yet. It won't be active until Christmas Day. And there's a link to the Sewcial review, which we did earlier this week. More about that on Idiot Quilter. And my past videos in the past week. Okay, so let's take a look at what the world is looking like outside of my window. Well, here you go. Yes, it is snowy. It isn't a lot of snow. You know, under this particular lighting scheme, it does look like a little bit more than it really is. Well, it's enough to cover up the green of grass. So yes, it's there. Go away is what I say to it. And I'm really hoping it is not going to be snowing on Christmas Day. I know, Killjoy, there are many of you out there in the northern climates that love a white Christmas. I am not one of them. Especially when I have to drive in it. And when I say I mean Walter, of course, because he's doing all the driving. I'm doing all the passenger side navigation, or air braking, as I call it, praying, things like that. Yeah, I can be a bit of a nervous passenger. I'm a very nervous driver, so that's why he's doing all the driving. Walter likes to drive, but I got to keep an eye on him sometimes. And I'd rather have him yell at me when I say, "Did you see the stop sign that we're coming up to?" than he doesn't see it, we go through it and cause a crash. Yeah. And you want to know something, just as a side note about that, we were out and about on Friday, Saturday, and the number of people who think a stop sign is just a suggestion. Yeah, they right through it. They slow down a little and just plow right through. What's this all about? And this wasn't one occasion or even two occasions. It was almost like the regular routine. You're really taking your life into your own hands when you approach a four-way stop intersection. They just zip right through it. What is with these people? I don't know. Did they get their licenses from Canadian Tire? Like what? Have they changed the rules of the road? Last I looked, stop meant stop. But anyways, back to the weather. So it is a bit crisp here this morning, -8. Not as crisp as it was yesterday morning when I got up. It was -17. I'm talking Celsius. Okay, so those temperatures are just below or right around 0 Fahrenheit. Frosty. Yes, I know I am not complaining about the cold. If we lived out west, well, they get -40. So, it's like tropical weather here at -17 compared to what they have out in the western parts of Canada. But anyways, it is frosty. And what is the forecast? Let's see here. Right now, well, we're supposed to have a high of 0 Celsius today. Nope. Oh, there is a 90% chance of snow today. 80% chance of snow tomorrow. Both have highs of 0. Wednesday, just cloudy, no precipitation. -1 is the high. Okay, that's not bad. Let's hope that we don't have any snow that make the roads real slick. We do have snow tires, but nevertheless, you don't want to be driving in it. We are Canadians. We are used to driving in it, but that doesn't mean we like it. Okay. So, yeah, hopefully the weather will be okay. Now, somebody told me that the long distance forecast, while we're down in Georgia, there is at least some precipitation, but that precipitation is rain, I guess. I can live with rain because, we're not going outside to frolic when we're down there. We're sewing. We're glued to our sewing machines for early in the morning, late at night, and the whole bit. And so I don't care. It can do whatever it wants out there. It's just getting down there. I hope the weather's okay. I got something in my eye. Yeah, it's my finger, I know. But anyways, so that takes me to what's pissed me off this week. Nothing. Well, there's always something that's pissing me off. And you can see what my pissed off or kind of thing was if you go to Stephen and Walter Live on Friday. I had a very nasty email from an individual who, what can I say, is a stupid piece of ignoramus. But anyways, she should have figured it out that if you're going to say nasty things to me, you're going to get it back. And she did. Of course, she was saying she was going to unsubscribe, so she'll probably never see that, and that's okay. I don't mind that she's unsubscribed. But anyways, what am I pissed off at? Nothing really. But I did want to talk a little bit about what our plans are, or what my plans are for the vlog in the new year. Well, it'll still be here. I had thought at one point of just combining the vlog. Oh, I've got in my eye something. Combining this, my vlog, with the Idiot Quilter vlog I do every week, because there is a little bit of overlap. Although I do try to keep most of the stuff separate from the two. And I put that out there to you about 2 months ago, and I had a lot of people say no. They wanted me to keep this. Okay, that made me feel good. And, I'm happy that people are getting something out of it. But I do want to do a few changes. Well, not really changes to the vlog as much as what, I'll be showing you. And, on this vlog is where I talk more about my other hobby, 3D printing. I have plans. I'm getting rid of one of my 3D printers, one of my older ones. I'm taking it down to Georgia to give to my good friend Russ of Quilt Meets World. He's all excited about it. Yeah, wait till he starts working with one. It's not plug and play, Russ. I've told him that many times. I don't know if he believes me, but he will become a believer, believe me. But anyways, how many times can I say believe? Yeah. Anyways, that means that in my print farm, I will have a hole, which is just right for a new printer. Yes, I am going to buy another printer, but this time I'm going to break out of the routine. I own Creality printers, and this time I'm going to buy a Bamboo Lab, and I'm going to buy a big sucker. I'm going to buy a Bamboo P1S combo, which is a printer that also comes with an AMS, Automatic Materials Supply or System, I guess it stands for. In other words, it holds 3 spools of filament and it automatically changes color when color needs to be changed. Ooh, I can't wait. I can't wait. Now, they have sales on them right now, but I can't take delivery of it when we're not at home. So that's one thing. The other thing, too, is those seem to be delayed deliveries as well. I know the one place, which is a Canadian store here in Ontario, you can pre-order it at their sale price, but they don't know when they're getting them. Now, a lot of that had to do with the postal strike and everything, kind of a deal. So that's sort of over now, but okay, I'm just taking a chance. Now, I have a feeling these sales are going to continue. However, the sales aren't that wonderful. Yeah, I might save a couple of $100, but when you're buying a machine like this and it's about $1,000 to start with, yeah. I mean, I am a very impatient person. When I want something, I want it now. And yeah, so that's the plan. And, I have a feeling there's going to be a learning curve on the new one. But I've been reading all of the consumer reports about this printer, or not reading them, watching them on YouTube and that reviews. And I have yet to find one that has said any major negative things about this printer. So apparently this is pretty much pull it out of the box, plug it in, and away you go. Plug and play. So we shall see, which will open up a whole new world in 3D printing. And that means I can start, maybe my plan is to make more things to donate. Or I have another idea. Do not hold me to any of these ideas. These are thoughts, okay? They're not real yet. But I am thinking of making, I've already started doing it, making a lot of little toys for kids and going over to my elementary school that's only a few blocks away from me and saying, look, I got this basket of toys. Do you see anything here that, that a teacher would like, maybe prizes for things in their classes or classroom decorations, things like that. Like the Pegasus that I make and those kind of things would be great if they're doing, someone suggests this to me, one of my subscribers, they probably do a unit on fantasy. And wouldn't that be great for them to have in the classroom display? And I thought, well, yeah. And, teachers are always looking for resources and they spend a lot of their own money to provide resources for the kids in their classrooms. So, having been a teacher, I know what that's all about. This would give me a lot of joy if they say, yes, we would love these. And I will say, and how many more would you like? Because then I'll have a real purpose for 3D printing beyond my experimentations and that kind of thing. In anticipation of this, I cleaned out one of my filament cupboards, kind of consolidated a lot of things, and I have baskets in there that are labeled. And you open it up and it says, well, you already saw that because I had it in my teaser. I have dragons and Pegasus and creatures and all these kind of things. And I have plans to expand that. On my area, I wonder if I can show you what I'm talking about here. Yeah, over in here, well, it's not, those are all the print, that's the print farm. You can't really see it in this picture, but on the wall behind the printers are these brackets that hold spools of filament. And they they're not really don't hold that much. They're more or less there for decoration with a few rolls of filament I don't use. I'm thinking of building a system that holds most of my filaments behind there. And there are systems you can 3D print the brackets for, and you just a question of getting some tubing and away you go. And then that would free up my cupboards above the 3D printers, and I can line them with baskets and basically manufacture all these little things. Now I am thinking as well as of having prizes. Maybe once a month, maybe every other month or every other week or something. We'll have a draw on maybe Stephen and Walter Live from whoever is in the chat, and they will win one of my creations or a mystery box. I'm thinking of a mystery box where I put in several of my creations, and I'll ship it to them. Now, I got to check out shipping. Shipping's expensive, but I'm kind of looking at it as an investment in my subscribers, in you. Sort of a way to thank you for hanging in there with me through the ups and downs of creating these channels and this stuff. And I don't know. I'm thinking that's what I might do. So yeah, lots of plans there. Where are my notes here? Where am I? I'm getting lost. I am so lost. Yeah, so I have other plans too. Like I've talked to you about the So Chatty. I'll talk more about that. It's more appropriate, I think, for IQ. But my plans for my quilting adventures in the new year. We have plans for trips. I have, when I come back from Dahlonega, from Georgia, I have to start figuring out what I'm going to talk about at the two guilds I'm speaking at. And the first one comes up at the end of January, so I better get on with that when I get home, right? I mean, I know what I'm going to talk about. It's up here, but I don't want to leave it up here because this isn't too good these days as far as remembering things. I have to commit it all to paper, and I've already made preliminary notes. So yeah, there's that. There's Stephanie's retreat in the spring that I'm teaching at. I need to do another one of the quilts I'm teaching. It's my own pattern. You have not seen it. I haven't put it out for publication yet. I will after the spring retreat. But I need to make it again. I've already made it a couple of times as I was putting the pattern together, but now this will be the final test to make sure everything is clear. And I was going to try and talk Walter into making it too. He actually said at one point he'd make it as well, which would be a real test, right? Since he's not an experienced quilt maker. So yeah, I don't know if he'll get to that. Yeah, Walter, let's just say he has to be in the mood. And sometimes those moods don't come that often to do certain things. So yeah, so there's all those plans. I'll talk more about those on the Idiot Quilter tomorrow. What else? Well, right now we're getting ready, as you know, for the retreat in Georgia. And I call it the anxiety of anticipation. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Just before you go away on a trip, 1,000 things go through your mind. I already mentioned some of them in my mind. The weather, for one, is a big factor. But the other thing is, okay, is the car ready to go? It's got snow tires. It'll have gas. It's in great shape. It's all been tuned up, ready to go. So that shouldn't be a worry, but you still worry. What about the house? You know how you get that sinking feeling after you hit the road? Did I leave something turned on in the house that shouldn't be on? I actually have a list for that. I know I'm a bit anal retentive here, but I do have a list for my checklist of things before we go out the door. I have checklists for packing. Oh, and that's the other thing. Did I forget anything? We're taking everything but the kitchen sink, so how could we forget something? The car is filled to the rafters. Can't get another thing in there at all. But I need to check my lists. And I constantly revise my lists too. So that's all making me anxious. The other thing is it's the anticipation. Okay, I'd like to leave today. Let's get on with this. Let's go. The excitement and fun we're going to have with this, but at the same time, is something going to go wrong? Don't borrow trouble, as people often say, right? But you never know. I have a little bit of a runny nose this morning. Well, I usually do this time of the year in the morning, anyways. But then you go, oh my God, I don't want to get sick. Please, please, I can't get sick. I've had all my shots. I've had COVID shot. I've had the flu shot. I've had an RSV shot. I got a shingles shot a year ago. I got a pneumonia shot. Actually, those were less than a year ago, earlier in the year. Pneumonia shot. I'm shot up. I'm so full of drugs. Yeah, and not the good kind. So yeah, okay, we're good there. Clothing. What do I take for clothing? Oh my God, we're going from, my sub-zero weather into, it could be very warm in Georgia. I don't know, but I also know that the weather in Georgia can be cold too and warm back and forth. So, and I can hear you shouting out at the screen now, layers. I know about layers. I know about layers. Okay? Not so, but I don't want to take a whole lot of clothes. Like, do I take the high heels? Do I get a ball gown? Are we going out for formal dinner and dance? No. No, no, no. I'm going to be stuck in front of a sewing machine. So comfy. Yeah, wear comfy clothes. Well, basically, wear what I usually wear when I sew. So that's the part of the anxiety. Did I forget any of my medications? Now, I'm not on a lot, but that's a worry too. So there's all this anxiety that of, what's going to happen? Are we going to have a good time? Yeah, I know we're going to have a good time because we're seeing all of our friends down there. But yeah, it's all of that. I'm antsy as heck. So I'm trying to keep myself busy by, working on that bag you saw the squares for and that kind of stuff. But at the same time, my mind's going nuts, thinking about everything. So yeah, if I'm pissed off at anything, it's that I'm pissed off that I'm letting myself feel this way. I should just chill. Just chill. And I will. I will. But I thought I'd talk about that because, I don't think I'm the only person that goes through the anxiety of anticipation, as I call it. Okay, moving on, shall we? Dwelling on these things a little too much. Okay, the grow lights. What's happening? Well, this gives me some anxiety too because will everything be dead when we get home? This is a close-up of my bug catcher. There haven't been a lot right now, but it's been cold, so the bugs are dead. Once it gets warmer again, they'll raise their little ugly heads, but there's some lettuce. There's a lot more lettuce. Okay, I'm thinking we have 2 nights home for dinner before we leave for the trip. Maybe we should be eating more salad. And the basil's doing well because I am afraid when we come home, this may all be dead. And I'm hoping not. Now, this system that we have, there's a tray there with a big sponge-like mat, and you just pour a lot of water in it, and it gets sucked up into the plants from underneath. So not too worried about the watering system. They'll be topped up before we go. The peppers are doing really well, but I want to show you something. See those little buds right there in the center of this plant? Those are flowers. And when you get flowers, you start to get little tiny peppers. So they're coming along beautifully. Again, they're sitting in great big vats, buckets, busboy trays. Yeah, I guess, the kind of thing that come around, clean the dishes off tables from in restaurants. And this is going to be a similar watering system to the other grow lights. We'll fill it with water, it'll soak it up, and yeah, everything should be fine. The grow lights themselves are all on automatic timers. And in fact, we can even check on them because the way the camera system works inside our house, yes, we have a camera system in here. We'll be able to see what's happening. And if the light's not on what it should be, I should be able to control it from my cell phone wherever we are. Yeah, welcome to the world of high tech. but I have a little anxiety that none of that'll work. I told you, anxiety, anxiety. Do I have anything else to show you here? No, I don't. So let's go back. So, yep, things are coming along nicely. Hopefully they don't die while we're gone. That reminds me of a little story. I'm just full of little stories today. Have you got some time? Pause me, get some coffee, come back, tea, whatever you're having. 'Tis the season. Now, I had this friend when I was in teachers college, and we used to call her Dead Plants. Now you're going to say, well, that's kind of a strange nickname, isn't it? Yes, it is. Because when I was in university and teachers college was a blast in those days. We didn't do a heck of a lot of work in teachers college. You know, it wasn't like regular university. Like there was times that the hardest work came when you had to go out and do actual practice teaching. Then that was hard. But for the most part, we had a lot of time to party, and we did. We were young. I mean, early 20s. What did early 20 people do? Party. And we did. We used to go to other people's places and that and have potluck dinners and all this kind of stuff. And this one friend of ours, she had a lot of plants, and it was coming up to this time of the year, Christmas. So we were going home for Christmas vacation for a couple of weeks. And in the middle of a conversation that had nothing to do with plants, Christmas, anything like that, she just turns around and says to me, and the person I was talking to, do you think my plants are dead in 2 weeks? This was right out of the blue. And we looked at her, and she was like this. She would say things that had nothing to do with whatever you were talking about that moment. And so you had to like backtrack. What are you talking about? Well, she was thinking about her plants and what she should do with them when she was gone for a couple of weeks. And if she came back and they'd all be dead because they weren't watered or whatever. But from that day on, we called her Dead Plants. So even after all these years and after 40 some years, almost 50, scary, I will still sometimes say to Walter, and he wasn't there at the time because I didn't know Walter when I was in teachers college. I'll just look and go, do you think my plants will be dead in 2 weeks? Just out of the blue. Yeah, just say that. It's comedy, sort of. You probably don't find it funny, but I do. Haha. You would think I'm drinking this morning. It's part of the anxiety of anticipation. You get like weird. Yeah, you do. I do. Okay, let's get off this topic and let's talk about new products. Well, no, I didn't buy a thing. Nope, because, I don't want anything shipped here to the house when I'm not home, for one thing. And yeah, and I've already talked to you about the new 3D printer I plan to be getting, ordering that as soon as I get home. Yep. So nothing else to talk there. And as for, can I print that effing thing? Well, I told you about rearranging the cupboards in anticipation of making more toy-like things. You've seen the toys I'm making, and now I'm making them in miniature. You've seen that. So nothing there to show you. I'm planning to make donations to the elementary school. I told you that already. Okay. I did make something, though, but I can't show it to you. I won't be able to show it to you until after we come back from Georgia, because I'm making these as a joke. They're a bit of a joke for my friends, Stephanie and Russ. Walter gets one too. I get one as well. You may see these on the live that we will do from the retreat. But that's all I can say. Say no more. Say no more. Okay. Let's move to blasts from the past. Okay, if you saw last week's vlog, and I hope you did, I showed you my very first vlog, my very first one of these, back from quite a few years ago, when I didn't know what I was doing. I think it runs 7 minutes. And it's just me rambling. And you're going to say, so things haven't changed in a long time, have they? Yeah. So in that little piece I showed you last week, I mentioned the fact that Walter and I were going to start something new, which eventually evolved into what you know today as Stephen and Walter Live. But I have what is almost one of our first ones. I'm not sure if it's the absolute first one. I think it was the first one in the play I think we did a few before the one that you're going to see today, but we didn't have it really organized. And you're going to look at this and laugh because, first of all, the location is totally different. We did it from the kitchen. Instead of drinking beers we usually do on Stephen and Walter Live, we're drinking smart cocktails. And I think I was recording it on my cell phone at the time, so the sound isn't all that great. But you'll see some common things, and I think it was the first one, or one of the first ones that Walter appeared in, and he appeared under duress. He did not want to do these. I talked him into it. Now look what I've changed him into. Oh my God, he's got his own fan club, and you know, I've created a monster. So this is not, the clip I'm showing you is only about 8 minutes long, the first part of it. And I think I'm bitching about women. I'm sorry. Actually, I was bitching about how we get treated when we go into, and it's not a quilt store. I'm telling you, this is before I started quilting when this was made. This is when I was a crafter. And the prejudice that the ladies in craft stores were showing to a male crafter. Some things haven't changed. Well, yes, they have a little bit. Anyways, laugh because this is funny. And that's why I'm putting it up.
Hi, it's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is a special vlog version. I've got Walter with me this time, and if you remember, back a couple of weeks ago on one of the vlogs, I asked you if you wanted for me to make a video with Walter in it, where we're just going to chat about things. Not necessarily things that are pissing us off, although that may come up in this as well. And so it's cocktail hour, as you can see. And we're having not Bloody Marys. What are these?
Caesars. Virgin Caesars.
Virgin Caesars. Yeah, we're telling you they're Virgin Caesars. Actually, they are Virgin Caesars because it's Saturday, and it's what's today's date? September the 16th, and it's around 5:34 in the afternoon, and we'll be having some dinner a little later on. And this is what we often do on weekends. We don't usually sit at the kitchen table. We're in my kitchen. And you've seen this before if you ever saw the one that we did the review of our Australian trip about 6 months ago or so. And, well, we're just going to chat about some stuff. Thought it might be nice for you to hear rather than just my voice. You'll hear Walter's too. So anyways, the microphone, I've put it down here. I'm not wearing it today. So hopefully it's picking up okay. So, what did we do today? Today we went out on a hunt. As you know, I have a serger. It was his sister's, his dead sister, Margaret, who passed away quite a few years ago from cancer.
2006.
Was it 2006? It's been that long?
Yeah.
Geez, 11 years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it just seems like yesterday. Well, ding dong, the witch is dead. Okay, I know. Now, no hate mail on this one, but his sister and I...
She was difficult.
She was, yeah, difficult as being polite about it. She used to call me Stephanie. All right? Right there.
She used to call me up and yell and scream, then hang up the phone. Then I couldn't call her back again. So
I tried when I first met you to like Margaret. I really did. But Margaret did not like me, I guess. She didn't like a lot of people, really.
She wasn't very happy.
She wasn't a happy person. Well, she went through 2.5 marriages. The last guy she didn't marry. So
it usually lasted about 6 or 7 years, and then they had enough of her and left.
Yeah, yeah. So it's kind of sad. But anyways, don't speak. You know, what was it? It was Betty Davis. No. It was a reporter said to Betty Davis something about, you know, shouldn't talk about... No. Betty Davis said, my mother always said, do not speak bad about the dead. Joan Crawford, she's dead. Good. So, kind of, that's how I felt about my dead sister-in-law. I know, that doesn't sound nice, and it makes me sound like a horrible person. You had to live it. But one thing that did come out of it, I got her serger. Actually, she had 3 sergers. And I've got one of them. His other sister got the really good one. And Jessie is so much different from Margaret. I mean, I really like Jessie out of that. And Jessie's a totally different person. I don't know how they could have all come from the same family. Hard to believe, really. And my sister got one of the sergers too. So I got the middle machine, and it's been sitting on our shelf for 11 years, basically. And I pulled it out a couple of times to try and learn it, but I was determined I was going to learn it. And I have. I know how to do it. It only took me 2 hours, 2.5 hours to thread the stupid thing and figure out what I was doing wrong. But I think I've got it figured out now. So today we went on a hunt for napkin material because I like cloth napkins, but they get stained and we need some new ones. And jeepers, nice cloth napkins are pricey. So I thought, well, if I learn how to use a serger, I can make some napkins. Yeah, I didn't know that it was going to be a problem finding the material for all of this. I shouldn't do that with my fingers on that. The microphone's probably picking it up. So anyways, we didn't have a lot of luck. I lost you in the store.
Yeah, couldn't find him for a while. I was trying to figure out where the hell he went.
Well, I was there. I was looking at material, but I'm asking people for help with material as well. And
Found him in the corner by the patch because the quilt stuff.
oh, by the quilting materials. Yeah, I mean, I want to try a little bit of machine quilting someday too. Now they got the Cricut Maker. It cuts material really well with that. And yes, you'll hear about this on the vlog on Monday. Oh, I keep doing that. Well, I talk with my hands. I can't help it. Meanwhile, you're over here coughing up a horse.
Yeah, I know. Well, I was drinking that, and then all of a sudden it's like something caught in my throat. So then, anyway.
Caught a little Caesar in your throat, did you?
Yeah.
No, really, I thought you'd be able to handle more than that, but that's for another time. Anyways, I'm still experimenting with these things, and on my vlogs you'll see with that. So anyways, that was what we did today. We went to Costco. Oh, we got bargain of the day. We needed soap, so we're at Walmart, and I like Zest, and they had 8 bars of Zest on for what, $3?
$3, which is really cheap.
Yeah, so we bought like 4. Well, let's see, we got 32 bars of soap for $12.
Yeah.
Really, that's pretty good.
It is. It's
Like
really good. Should go buy a case.
So let's see, that's what, $2? No, not $2, but we got
$3. No.
no, we got 32.
I think it's 42 cents a bar or something.
Something like that. Well, geez. So we're going to be really clean, and maybe we'll have some napkins at some point. Oh, we bought chocolate. Yeah, we bought big bars of dairy milk chocolate or Cadbury's.
Cadbury's dairy milk chocolate imported from England. The England chocolate's better.
Yeah, and believe it or not, Walmart has it, but they don't have where the other chocolate is.
Mm-hmm.
They keep it what? You were looking all over the place.
Yeah, it was in with the international food.
Yeah, it was right next to your curry and your Mexican. I mean, there you go. British chocolate between curry and Indian and Mexican food. Okay, but we like those. We got what? Fruit and nut
And
and a plain milk chocolate kind of thing. Yes, and we've been trying to hold back on stuff like that, but it's weekend. Weekends don't count. Did you know that? On weekends, there are no calories. No calories on anything. So, oh, and by the way, the camera's a little hole there.
Yeah, I realize that.
Yeah, well,
I don't have to look at the hole. I look over there at my face.
yeah, you look at your face, but it'll look like you're not making eye contact with the audience.
Oh, I see.
See, that's what I used to do because I'm looking right now at the
Okay,
screen.
so
But
I
really, you got to
look
look
at
at
the
the
hole,
hole.
right?
Yeah, look at the hole. That way, people will think you care about them if you make eye contact, right? You guys told me about that, and I've been really trying. Okay, we have this set up in a really weird spot to get the two of us in. It's on the end. We have an extended end of the counter over here. They used to call that a breakfast bar or something kind of a thing on it. It's not very big. I mean, if you're serving breakfast for midgets, maybe they'd all fit into that. But that's where it is right now located. And see, I'm looking right at myself in this, but maybe we're far enough away, it'll look like I'm looking into the camera. So if I'm not making eye contact with you, all right, you don't want my eyes, then don't worry about it. Okay, so anyways, Walter said, what are we going to talk about on this? And I said, whatever
Well,
comes.
you could do that.
I can't help it. Sorry.
Gee.
I mean, and this thing's squeaking underneath me. All right, whatever. And there isn't any alcohol in these. Yeah. Nope, there isn't really. Okay, so what'd you do this week?
What do you mean what I do this week?
Well, what did you
At
do
work.
this week? Yeah, but you did something. What were you on Thursday night?
Uh,
You had to
know,
go into work, and
I
it
had to go into work, and then I
was Tuesday night you went out for dinner.
yeah, I went Tuesday night. I went
With
to
your
Indian restaurant.
Yeah, and you said something about that. Okay, here's something that pisses us off. When you go out for dinner, and they automatically assume because you're there with a woman that woman is your wife or your girlfriend. Because what happened to you?
Well, I went out with my group that I usually go out with, and the group of people I used to do stained glass with. So we all get together. The store's not there anymore, but we all get together and just go out for dinner and talk and see what's new and stuff like that. So it's primarily women that are in the group, but there's another guy that's in the group. Well, that night we had there were three women and just me, and one of the women arrived first, and she was sitting at the end of a table, and I sat across from her. She had ordered a glass of wine, and then I came in and ordered another glass of wine. And then the other two women arrived, and the waitress came over to take our order, and she said, "Oh, is this all together as one bill?" And we said, the lady sitting across me, she said, "No, we want separate bills." And then she said, "Oh, you mean like you two and the two on the other side?" She goes, "No, individual bills, like one for each of us because we're just friends." Then the waitress says, "But I already put your two wines on one bill." And the lady, I know Trish, she's a school teacher. She says, "Well, then you'll be changing that." Right? So, but anyway, yeah, it's happened to us a couple of times. The last time it was, we were two guys and two women at another restaurant and the waitress automatically assumed we were two couples, didn't ask about splitting the bill or anything, and gave us a single bill each, or split the bill in two, assumed we were two couples. And we had a good laugh at that because we were all separate.
Yeah. Well, see, what pisses me off about that though is in this day and age, they're making us an assumption. Which, yes, I get it. I can understand why they make that assumption. However, you can't make assumptions like that anymore in this day and age. It's like when I walk into, well, the fabric store today.
Yeah.
I find some of the people that work in that fabric store in there, as soon as I see a man come in by himself or with even with another man, they automatically assume that you have no idea where you are and what you're doing in a material store, a fabric store, and what you're looking for. And they assume that they don't even come up and ask you if they can help you because they think somewhere in that store your wife or a woman that you're with is walking around and you're just like there holding the handbag or something. No, excuse me, no. I mean, after all, the greatest designers in the world, and I'm going to get hate mail about this, are men. They are not women.
Mind you, you have the same problem, or we've had the same problem in the past when you walked into
Oh
scrapbooking
yeah.
stores too. It's
Oh
sort of
yeah.
like they look at you and say, "Can I help you?" As if to say, "Well, you don't what you did you accidentally stumble into this store?" And
Well,
uh,
some of them have actually gone as far to say, "Are you looking for something for your wife?"
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that little blast from the past. And now, events in the past week. Well, we went next door to the neighbors on Monday afternoon for Christmas drinks and little nibblies. We had a good time. It was great. We have to make a point in the new year of having them to our place for dinner. They've been here for drinks last Christmas yeah, time. But yeah, it'd be, you know, they've lived here for 10 years. Hard to believe. And, you know, we talk to them when we're out in the yards and things like that, but we don't socialize with them beyond the Christmas drink. So it'd be nice to have them over for dinner um one time and, you know, really get to know them a little better. You should know your neighbors, you know, for a lot of reasons. So yeah, that might be a plan. But it was a very nice afternoon, and they put a nice spread together, as they say, and their decorations were gorgeous. Their tree was gorgeous. The only thing missing was their little dog. It passed away a few weeks ago, Mia. And the last time we were over there, Mia pretty much gave us baths. She was a licker. Um, she was a cute little dog, very yappy. I didn't have to worry about, you know, anybody breaking into your house because that dog, not that it would have probably attacked them. It was only a little tiny dog, but it had a bark, a mighty bark. So it's, there was the absence of Mia was noted for sure. Um, what else? Oh, we delivered our gift bags to Ultimate Sewing last week. Got those to the ladies down there. I hope they enjoy everything. Not all the staff, of course, were in on that day, just a couple of them. So yeah, I hope that brought a little cheer to them as well. I love giving them something because they look after us very well and always have since we started quilting and sewing too. So yeah. And it was our 41st anniversary on Saturday. Now, some of you joined Stephanie on her live on Saturday, and Walter and I were there too. We weren't sewing, we were drinking champagne and having a little bit of fancy cheese and crackers. And Walter was sous videing the steak that we were having and getting other things ready. And he made a pie. He made a chocolate banana cream pie. Yum, yum, yum. I have to say, it's one of my favorite pies, but then I've never met a pie I didn't like. So, yeah, for me, it's a food group, as I've said before. But that was good. So, we had a very nice anniversary. We used to years ago go out for it, but this time of the year, is not the time to go out because everything is busy and whatnot. And, why spend a whole lot of money on God, I sound like an old man. Why spend a whole lot of money when you can have the same thing at home? But yeah, that's sort of how we looked at it too. So it was nice to be on Stephanie's live and just chat. I hope we weren't too intrusive because I kind of pushed myself, Stephanie, um, because I kind of got the idea earlier in the day and said to her, "Hey, can we come on your live? Uh, the Zoom part of it, kind of a deal." And Stephanie, being Stephanie, Stephanie's one of the nicest people I know. She said, "Of course." And we did. So Russ was the only one that was sewing on there. Stephanie wasn't sewing either, but we had a nice little chat and it was fun. And I think that was also added to our celebration of our 41st anniversary. 41 years together. And they said it would never last. But you know also what they say. The first 50 are the hardest. So, whatever. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, yeah, you already know what's coming up, the retreat. We will be, as I said, we will try to do a live, at least one, with Stephanie and Russ and Walter and I from the retreat as well. We're hoping the technology will work. We were able to do it last year without any problem. And this year is going to be a little different because I am taking my laptop with me, as well as an extra camera and some other paraphernalia, microphones and everything. I went out and I bought more wireless microphone systems to add to my system so that each one of us can be wearing a wireless mic. I hope this all works. When you want technology the most, it lets you down. But yeah, I have never traveled with my laptop. I always take my iPad, and I will be taking my iPad this time. But I'm taking the laptop because it's just, in many ways, it's easier to do something like this using the laptop. So yeah. So when will that be? I'm not sure. It will not be probably in the regular time slot when we usually do Stephen and Walter live. And yeah. So press the little bell on both my channel and on Russ's channel, Quilt Meets World, and Stephanie's channel, Stephanie Stitches. And, those bell thing doesn't work all that well, but maybe if you have all three of them pressed, one of them will go off for it. But anyways, yeah. So before I leave, this is the last vlog for 2024. Pick it back up when we get home, as I said. And I just hope you and yours have a wonderful Christmas. I hope you have a really great new year as well. And 2024 has been a really mixed bag, hasn't it? Let's hope, in spite of the a-holes that are in our political systems across the world, let us hope that we, as individuals, Have a really great 2025. And we'll see you later. Bye for now.